We're not scared against anybody. We're not scared to play against anybody at all.
Coming up, a full half hour getting you ready for the Iowa basketball season. Hawkeye headquarters takes a look at the men's roster, the mentality they have heading into the year, and how they plan on filling the shoes of Luka Garza and Joe Wieskamp. Plus,
beyond excited. The fact I'm able to put on this jersey one last time for this year and have fans back, it's giving me goosebumps just even talking about it.
He's already been dubbed Grandpa in the locker room. What goals Jordan Bohannon has set for himself and the team heading into his 6th year on campus? And
I think we know what it takes to get there, but we only want to get further, so we know we have to do more this year.
the women's team returning 95% of their scoring from last season, including now national sensation Caitlin Clark. How they're attacking the 2021-2022 season, fresh off an Elite Eight berth. Hawkeye headquarters basketball preview starts right now. Hello there and welcome to Hawkeye headquarters basketball preview. Jarek Andrzejewski alongside Zachary Winicky here in the Local 4 News studio to bring you all you need to know heading into the upcoming basketball season.
That's right, Jarek. A lot of exciting stuff to talk about. Some new faces in Iowa City. One familiar face returning for his 6th season. A lot to talk about in this half hour. We hear from Coach Fran McCaffrey what excites him about this year's squad.
And Joe Toussaint is expected to take the reins at point guard this season. How he and his teammates are looking forward to that change.
And Keegan Murray made a name for himself last season. How his twin brother Chris is looking to do the same this year.
Yeah, but first, let's take a moment to appreciate last season because it truly was one for the history books for the Black and Gold. They did pretty well for themselves, going 22-9, including a 14-6 record in conference play, their most conference wins since 1987, all while putting up 83.7 points per game, the 5th highest mark in the country. They were led, of course, by Luka Garza. He became the program's first consensus National Player of the Year while averaging 24.1 points and 8.7 rebounds in his senior year. Along the way, he broke Iowa's scoring record previously held by the late, great Roy Marble. The big man will have his numbered retired hanging in the rafters at Carver Hawkeye.
But of course, it wasn't just a one-man show last year. Joe Wieskamp, the Muscatine native, he was the only player in the country to put up at least 400 points, 200 rebounds, 73 pointers, and 25 steals last season. It's one of the reasons why we saw Coach Fran McCaffrey earn his 216th win during his 11 years at the helm of the Iowa basketball program. That puts him 2nd all-time at the university. And of course, the rather disappointing end of the season, losing in the 2nd round of the NCAA tournament to Oregon.
Yeah, absolutely, Zach. Now, fast forwarding to this season, just 2 starters returning. That's Jordan Bohannon and Connor McCaffrey. Wieskamp and Garza now in the NBA. C.J. Frederick transferring to Kentucky. So let's take a look at who will be suiting up for the Hawkeyes this season. We'll start with Jordan Bohannon. The 6-year senior will be lining up at shooting guard this season. The 6'1" Marion, Iowa native holds several offensive records for the Hawkeyes.
Austin Asher, redshirt senior from Cedar Rapids. He earned a scholarship last year after walking on his first 4 years. And
Connor McCaffrey, another redshirt senior and son of head coach Fran McCaffrey. He was 4th in assist-to-turnover ratio in the entire country last year.
Philip Obraka, the senior, is a transfer from the University of North Dakota, now here in Iowa, and so far, so good.
I mean, I like it so far. It's a little bigger than Grand Forks, North Dakota, and I'm used to bigger cities, so I like that a lot. You know, there's a bunch of places to go out and eat. I'm a big food connoisseur guy, you know, traveling the world. Got my fair share of different cultures, so I like my time here so far because I know we have a lot of new guys and guys that have not played in packed arenas. You know, I've been through that. I've played at is it Rupp Arena from Kentucky, so you know I felt 16,000 fans booing me on my free throws and whatnot. So I feel like I have the experience, what it takes to be calm, and I feel like I can transfer some of my knowledge.
And we'll keep it going here with the roster. Joe Toussaint, the junior point guard from the Bronx, hasn't missed a single game the past 2 seasons.
And Patrick McCaffrey, a redshirt sophomore, the younger brother of Connor, who led the team in steals 5 times last season and 4 times in blocks.
And Keegan Murray, son of former Hawkeye Kenyon Murray, he was the only bench player in the entire country to amass 200-plus points, at least 35 blocks, 25 steals, and 15 three-pointers.
Chris Murray's twin, their dad Kenyon, named Chris after the Hawkeye legend Chris Streets.
And Josh Agundale, he's the 2nd London native recruited by Fran McCaffrey, the other being Gabe Osalani.
Tony Perkins ended his freshman year on a good personal note with a season-high 5 points against Oregon.
And the sophomore Aaron Eulis out of Chicago, his older brother Tyler played 3 seasons in the NBA. And now Aaron is ready to get the season going.
Yeah, we're coming into the season. We're going to go out there every night, fight hard, no matter who's in front of us. And we just used last year as I used last year as a learning experience, seeing Luke and Weezy go out there and play and be leaders on and off the court. We're just going to use it as a positive going into the season, and we're just going to go out there and fight hard.
Now let's get to the freshmen. We'll start with Carter Kingsbury, a guard from Nebraska. His father, Chris, a 3-year letterman at Iowa.
Luke Laquetta, also a guard. His father coached alongside Fred McCaffrey at Notre Dame in the 90s. How about that? Small world.
Yeah, and Riley Mulvey, a defensive-minded forward from New York. He reclassified to make his way to Iowa City a year early.
And last but not least, Peyton Sanford, a 6'7" forward from Waukee, Iowa. He was the Iowa Basketball Coaches Association for a Player of the Year as a senior. Now, as you can see, a lot of different ways that Fran McCaffrey can go this year with his roster.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what he plans on doing. Expect the lineups to remain pretty fluid in the early part of the season.
You know, the practices have been very competitive. You know, I've been switching the lineups quite a bit. Everything we do in practice is competitive, so every segment is, you know, one team wins, one team loses. And they've been going at each other, you know, so it sort of gives you an indication of, you know, who's ready to compete and then who's capable of playing multiple positions like we think they are. But, you know, we force them to do that. And so we can go with a bigger lineup, we can go with a smaller lineup. You know, we can go without a 5-man, a traditional 5-man, you know, 3 guards and, you know, 2 6'9s. I mean, there's a lot of ways we can go. So I think from that standpoint, you know, it's a different kind of team. I don't know if I've ever coached a team where everybody on the team is going to have a different role than they had last year. So that's fairly unique if you think about it.
Now, Jarek, Coach McCaffrey touched on it a little bit there. Things are competitive at practice as players try to position themselves for minutes.
Yeah, you're right, Zach. And I mean, that's something you love to see as a coach. And even the players, I think, have a good understanding that that's actually really going to help them when they're actually getting in there and playing real games.
I feel like we have a lot of different parts that we can move in and out. And I think that playing the way that we're going to play upbeat, we're going to be athletic, we're going to be very good defensively, we're going to press. We got depth, we got guys that are going to come in and fill roles in different ways. You're going to see breakout guys every single night. I think you're going to see new stuff happen. So I'm really excited.
I think that throughout this year that I can play into a spot higher than I am, and I think that everyone else can also do that. So I think that this year's team's going to be special in a certain way because anyone on this team could be in the rotation at any point. And I feel like throughout the year it's either going to change or we're just going to have everyone play.
We had a deep team last year, you know, 5 seasons, you know, all the way to my freshman year. This has always been a deep team. We've always had 10 to 11 guys that have been able to play. So, you know, I see it even just increasing the competition in practice, honestly. And, you know, obviously we're not going to play 11 to 12 guys. So it's going to get down to his 8-9 that he usually plays. And it makes it even more better for us.
Now, Jarek, you spent a lot of time covering this team last season. What sticks out to you on this team's roster?
Well, the first thing, obviously, you're missing a few names from last year, right? Luka Garza, Joe Wieskamp, C.J. Frederick, Jack Nungy, they've all moved on. And all those players had pretty big roles for the team last year. But now they've got an eager group to try and fill those shoes. You know, odds are not one player is going to fill the shoes of a Garza or a Wieskamp. But those two guys leaving gives more room for players like Keegan Murray, Joe Toussaint, even somebody already established like Jordan Bohannon, a chance to really expand their games and to utilize the skill sets that they bring to the table. Now, some players that maybe only saw a handful of minutes like last year, like a Tony Perkins, Aaron Eulis, they'll get some more run this season. And you know what? Those are two athletic guards who should be really fun to watch at Carver Hawkeye this year.
And it's going to be important for those underclassmen, you know, to contribute as soon as possible because heading into the season, Iowa's predicted to finish only 9th in the Big Ten by several media outlets.
Yeah, and that's nothing new for Iowa basketball, right? They're used to being the underdogs, and a season like last year, sort of an anomaly when it comes to the preseason national hype that was surrounding the team. So this year, the Hawkeyes are leaning into the haters, the doubters, and gearing up to prove them all wrong.
I don't think people's expectations of us are too high. I think our fans who kind of saw glimpses of what we were able to do last year, so I think that's something that our fans are excited about because they watched us play. But like as far as like national media or whatever, if you look at like our like points, whatever that we return, I'm sure it's not overwhelming. So, but it's like we know the talent that we have in our locker room and we know the ability that we all have, and we think we can make some serious noise. And I can't wait to do that and prove a lot of people wrong and then prove others right.
Yeah, we have something to prove, but like I said, it's a different team, but we have the same expectations, and we're going to hold each other to that. Might have new leaders, but we're all ready and we're all hungry.
Yeah, I feel like our whole life, most of the people on the team, as you said, we're not highly recruited. We just looked at as the underdog. I actually like that, especially going into the season. And we're just going to go out there, play hard, compete, play together, and just come out with a W.
definitely a little bit of added motivation. But I don't think any year that I've been here we've been picked particularly high other than last year. Even coming into my sophomore year, my freshman year, we weren't picked very high in the league, maybe 7th, 6th, 7th in that range. So I don't think anything changes at all. I think that it's going to be just us, just like any other year, continuing to battle, prove people wrong, Carver's just a tough place to play, come in, have fans really screaming in here, and playing hard, playing fast, playing together.
Now, like we said, and the Hawkeyes know they're predicted to be in the bottom half of the Big Ten this year. Zach, do you think they can actually surpass those expectations?
I mean, in theory, yes. They have players that have all played at a high level before. The question is, can they all do it in these new roles that they're expected to step into? And it's not like they're the only team in the country that's lost players. So, I mean, in theory, yeah, I think they can.
All right, well, we're going to find out soon enough. Still ahead, a change of command at point guard.
Yeah, Jordan Bohannon is back in Iowa City, but Joe Toussaint is ready to take over at the starting point guard. What their new roles are going to look like, this is Hawkeye Headquarters Basketball Preview. Welcome back to the Hawkeye Headquarters Basketball Preview. Zachary Winnicke here with Jarek Andrzejewski. Now, Jarek, a new year for the Iowa basketball team and a new point guard as well.
Yeah, Jordan Bohannon has been running the point, and he's done a great job of it. But Fred McCaffrey moving him to the two-guard spot this season. We'll have more on that in just a couple of minutes. But right now, let's focus in on his replacement at point, Joe Toussaint. Toussaint averaging just under 4 points and just over 2 assists per game in his sophomore season, each game coming off the bench. Still, he ranked 3rd on the team in steals.
But if we take you back to his freshman year, he actually started 20 games that season. He's able to average 6.5 points along with 3.2 rebounds per game. He also led the team in steals with 1.2 each game.
Now, in his junior season, he'll be running the show for the Hawkeye offense and bringing his Bronx bred mentality right here to Iowa City.
I feel like I'm preparing myself really well, actually. I just take pride in being a leader, and that's just what I do. I feel like I was a natural born leader. Ever since I was young, I was always, a leader. My mom looked at me, as one of her best kids, just being biased, but she just looked at me as a leader. You know what I'm saying? I just take that word leadership very seriously. So I just try to lead by example, my words. Just trying to make sure everybody's on the right page. A lot of fast tempo, fast pace. Pressuring the ball. Good defense all around, switching. We're gonna gel. We're gonna gel very well together. I basically had the ball all my life, so I just feel like I just gotta put my teammates in good positions to score the ball, give them the ball in the right spots, and just engineer victory. Get that killer mentality from where I'm from. New York City is a slogan that goes "kill to be killed," and I just got to be a hunter. I got to go hunt people, and I just feel like me. It starts with me. So if I'm doing that, I feel like everybody else is gonna follow my lead.
So, Zach, you can hear he's locked in for his junior year, looking to make an impact, running the offense. Now, what do you think he brings to the table as the primary ball handler this year?
Well, offensively, he's gonna push the tempo, penetrate the lane, set up his teammates for open looks. Defensively or offensively, it'll be an exciting style of play on the defensive end. He'll grab you a steal or two a game and give you 110% right from the start. We've seen this for the first years when he comes in the game. He's the energy, he picks up the energy, and you can expect that from him again this year. It's just going to be interesting. Can he keep that going in his expanded role?
Absolutely. We'll have to find out. It looks like it should be pretty promising. The offense looked good when he was running the show. He's taking over for Jordan Bohannon at point guard. J-Bo now playing the shooting guard. Zach, take us through what we can expect from the 6th-year senior.
A moment that Jordan Bohannon thought would cap off his illustrious career in Iowa City.
Giving my mom and dad flowers senior day, which I thought that was going to be my last day on Carver.
Is now a moment he'll get to live all over again.
Coach McCaffrey called me back into his office and say, hey, we want you back. We want you to be the leader of this team. Here's the keys to this team if you want to come back.
It wasn't a hard decision.
There's no better place than the University of Iowa.
And there wasn't a fax. But just like the man he shares a name with, he announced his return with a few simple words. One final year.
I'm beyond excited. The fact I'm able to put on this jersey one last time.
As he returns to campus for his 6th season, he goes by a lot of names. Iowa's all-time three-point leader, assists leader, free throw percentage leader, and his favorite, Grandpa?
I mean, Philip's the same age as me, and
I'm getting that out, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Someone finally wrote about it.
It may be a joke, but it means something. Grandpa is going to break the NCAA record for career games played.
I battled through so many injuries. The fact I can even say I'm able to get that record, that actually is probably more rewarding of them all because my body's been through so much.
And all that experience is going to be big for this young Hawkeye squad.
No matter what the circumstances are, he'll handle it. Nothing's going to rattle him, and that's incredibly valuable when you're competing at this level.
His one final year is going to be a little bit different than his first final year. Starting with his role. With the big names gone from last year, expect more shots and makes from him.
He made 83s last year, so let's see if he can make 90 or more this year.
Then there's the fans in the stands, and oh boy, did he miss them.
That's a big reason why I came back, to talk crap to fans.
So bring on the grandpa chants and the booze and the doubt, because he's ready for it all. One final time.
I'll take all the hate I can get, honestly.
Yeah, quite the career for J-Bo. We have a list of his records and the ones he could break this season online at ourquadcities.com. Still ahead, a breakout season for Keegan Murray last year.
Yeah, what he's looking to do in his sophomore campaign. You're watching Hawkeye Headquarters Basketball Preview.
Welcome back to the Hawkeye Headquarters season preview. The Vets got a lot of attention on the men's basketball team last year. Luka Garza, Joe Wieskamp, and Jordan Bohannon were all selected to a Big Ten all-conference team. But one true freshman seemed to catch the attention of Iowa fans more so than others.
Yeah, that's right, Zach. Keegan Murray was a selection for the Big Ten all-freshman team. He averaged 7 points and 5 boards a game. This year, he's ready to put his full skill set on display.
Yeah, I just think I'll be put in different spots than I was last year on the court. I mostly played the 4 last year, but this year I'll be playing all around the court. I'll just be able to show my versatility. For me this year is just do whatever I can to make our team win, whether that's rebound the basketball, like steals, make shots, whatever that is, I'll do. I really don't preference where I'm at. I want to guard the best player on the court wherever he is, so I just feel like if it's a 1, if it's a 2, 3, 4, low 5, whatever that is, I feel like I can do. So.
And this year, not only will he get a larger role, his twin brother is also expected to see more minutes.
Yeah, the two saw some playing time last season together, but not enough to get a good feel for how they play together. This season, they're ready to have some time on the court together.
I'm excited because I've been playing basketball with him my whole life. And just being able to play with Chris, where my dad played at, is just a big moment for us. And last year we got in a couple times together, and that was just a great experience. So I feel like it'll only be a great experience from here.
We've really used each other to just learn. And especially the one-on-one games that we used to play, really competitive. I try to win all of those. So, yeah, we don't butt heads as much now. It's more just holding each other accountable and being constructive about it.
And you heard Keegan mention how great it is to have the two play together at the same school their father Kenyon played at.
Yeah, they had the chance last year, but again, Chris just not really getting a ton of minutes. So this year, if they hit the court together, it's going to be in front of a pretty rowdy Iowa crowd.
I feel like it's going to be great because last year I played a lot, but it was a COVID year, so we really didn't have people here to watch, and it was kind of like a glorified scrimmage almost. But, I mean, this year with all the fans, I think you can see it at the football games. They're really passionate about the teams here at Iowa, and I just feel like it'll be the same with basketball. So the first game, the first exhibition, whenever it is, I just think Iowa fans will come out and support us.
Yeah, that's a good bet there, Keegan. Fans are ready to get Carver rocking again for sure. Still ahead, we take a look at the women's team as they prepare for another deep tournament run.
Yeah, how the team plans on improving their defense this season. That's coming up after the break on the Hawkeyes Headquarters Basketball Preview.
Welcome back to Hawkeye Headquarters. Let's take a look at the Hawkeyes men's basketball schedule. Some of their key dates, they opened up their season in Iowa City against Longwood back on the 9th. They'll hit the road and face Virginia on November 29th for the annual Big Ten ACC Challenge. First Big Ten game of the year will be at Purdue as they take on the Boilermakers on December 3rd.
And then the in-state rivalry matchup, the Hawkeyes will be in Ames on December 9th. Jordan Bohannon already expecting a slew of grandpa chants from the crowd. Should be a fun one. Starting with the game against Maryland on January 3rd. It's going to be all conference play from there on out. The regular season ends in Champaign on March 6th with the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis running March 9th through the 13th. So you take a look at some of the games there, Jarek. What are your expectations for the Hawkeyes this season?
Well, hopefully you go undefeated through November, right? You have a lot of those non-conference games. Obviously, the ACC Big Ten Challenge against Virginia is going to be tough. But if you can go through November undefeated, you're putting yourself in a good position. The Big Ten's tough. Obviously, that raises the strength of schedule. But if they can finish conference play above 500, I think you should look at that as a successful regular season. What about you?
Yeah, I think you pretty much hit it right there in the head. And I think the other thing is, too, is maybe if they get a game that no one's expecting to get in conference play. They may finish a few more games over 500 because there's still so much that's unknown about this team. You never know, and it could end up being a way better than expected season. So I guess we'll wait and see.
Yep, we'll have those answers here shortly as the season kicks off. And while the men's team isn't being viewed as a top team, the women certainly are, coming into the season ranked 9th in the AP poll.
Yeah, in fact, 3 teams in the Big Ten are ranked in the top 10, so the Hawkeyes know they need to step up things on the defensive side of the ball. Part of that comes from focus, but another factor will be Iowa having the chance to feed off their fans at Carver Hawkeye Arena.
It's going to be actually insane. Like, it's going to be like nothing I've ever experienced, and I've been in Carver with fans. So I've heard we sold more season tickets than we ever have before. Like, I have people that I've met one time telling me that they're like bought season tickets coming for like all these games. Like, they're going to come to Maryland, like come to all these like faraway places. So I think it's just going to be super exciting.
I think defensively, I definitely have focused in on that area and knowing if my team wants to be great, every single one of us has to be focused in that area. I think just straight up caring more about it for all of us is like wanting to be good at defense. I don't think that was always really in the back of our minds. It's like we knew we could outscore every single person. If they scored 90, we could score 93 on them, but we don't want to do that this year. We want to make it easier for ourselves.
In order for us to go far, we need to take defense way more seriously than we ever have, and just kind of flipping the mindset, and that's such a huge part.
I think also just having that mentality, defense first, is a big thing for us this year, and I'm excited. Hopefully it has paid off.
You know, we're not used to being the hunted, right? I mean, we're not used to that. Sometimes I feel like we play a little bit better with a chip on our shoulder and people not expecting a lot out of us, and we've talked about that as a team, that we have to change our mentality a little bit.
And a reminder, you can stay up to date with all things Hawkeyes online with Hawkeye headquarters. We've got extra content that we didn't have time to get to in the show for you online right now. You can also find game previews, recaps, highlights, and stories on your favorite players online at ourquadcities.com, or follow Hawkeye headquarters on Facebook and Twitter at Hawkeye HQ.
Yeah, that's all our time. Thank you so much for joining us. For Jarek Andrzejewski, I'm Zachary Winnicky. We hope you enjoyed this Hawkeye headquarters basketball preview, and we hope you enjoyed the season.